Joining us on the How Did You podcast today is Dreamcrazzy. She's the first female former Call of Duty player who's now turned into a professional analyst and commentator for the CDL. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's a Saturday. I can't complain. It's my birthday weekend. So that means we are just relaxing and enjoying some me time.
As well as being a professional Call of Duty commentator, analyst, as well as a former Call of Duty pro who still goes for it these days, you're also a percussionist and a Twitch partner. How do you actually have time to do this? Because you also had another job alongside being a commentator and, I guess, content creator.
I don't. Truth be told, I don't have the time. I want to do it more. That's the issue right now that I struggle with every day. And it is just finding the time to do it and balancing is really, really hard with that full-time job. And obviously priority right now is casting, content creation, but I'm trying to find better ways to balance because honestly, I'm really bad at it. I'm staring at a screen for 8 hours all day and then pushing out reports. I tell you what, I'm drained. I get off. It's like, I go through this like, do I want to stream? Do I want to play Call of Duty? Do I want to play Lost Ark? Like, because there's so many other games that like sometimes you just want to relax. But it's something that I'm pushing to do more. There's a lot of content that I haven't pushed out. But balance, it's tough, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Trying to be better about it.
We're gonna make it a little bit more fun. We've not met too long ago. We've had a nice little chat for about 40 minutes in Zoom beforehand. But I'm going to throw you a really difficult question. If you had to split up any casting pair other than yourself and Sean and take one of the partners from the casting pairs and make your own pair up, who would you choose and why? Would it be somebody like Bryce or Tun, or would it be the first ever female casting duo for the CDL?
Ooh. The first female casting duo would be so awesome, but I like look at it in a perspective of like who am I gonna vibe out with the most and like have the most fun and like laugh with the most. And I feel like it would be either, gosh, it has to be one of the casters that are not as serious, let's say. Either Miles, Maven, or Bryce. It has to be one of those three. It has to be because like I don't know. Or maybe God, this is you had to throw this in. This is tough. This is tough. It has to be a guy. It has to be. And it I mean, I could do it, but Allie, it would be fun with Allie too. It's just kind of going into that conversation of talking about the game and who like energy. It's got to be about the aura and the energy. It has to be one of those three. Do I have to pick one? I have to pick one.
Yeah,
I
unfortunately.
have to pick one. Oh gosh. See, what did I tell you about the overthinking thing? What did I tell you? Oh, Miles.
Ooh.
I picked Miles. It's just because he came in my stream and he requested a song. Okay, this was last year when I was more ass than I am at guitar than I am now. I'm much better at now. But yeah, learning process of playing guitar, guys. Fun story. Started doing that during COVID, playing Rocksmith. But yeah, we're starting to learn actually the notes that we're hitting instead of just being like blue string, green, purple, yellow. And it's yeah, Miles came in and requested some Mick Gordon, man, some doom music, and I was jamming out. So I just I love him. I love him. Fun.
You speak about the fact that you are learning to play guitar. What kind of genre do you prefer to play? Is it a certain kind, like, I don't know, pop, jazz, game songs, game themes? Is there a particular one you prefer, or is it just play whatever you play?
Well, right now, what I do, because we mentioned like having the time and balancing out everything, I don't play as much as I would like to. I do only play on a Friday evening, typically, and I do song requests. So I say whether it's bass, the bass guitar, I've learned how to play bass. We're learning guitar, whatever. You guys can request whatever you want. Typically, my preferred genre, I do like metalcore, harder, even some punk, like even old school like Ramones. Like I love a variety of different music. I love jazz, even in like slow stuff, but that is much harder to play, and I'm not at that level of advance. Like I haven't taken a master class yet, or like a blues master class. I want to learn those things, but they're much harder to play, like as opposed to just sight reading a metalcore song where you're just like playing like the same like like it's fun. It's very high energy, and like maybe if I'm just chilling out talking to the stream and just jamming out, it's really fun to do. But the advanced stuff, like I want to learn, I haven't gotten there yet.
I'm not surprised with how much time you have because you're a very, very busy person. You're developing yourself as Ellen, but you're also developing yourself as Dreamcrazy, whilst also taking on lots of different casting roles. And during the time of casting, you commentated quite a lot with Sean. Spaceman's been on the podcast before. He's an absolutely outstanding human being. Sorry. You must have had some fun experiences with Sean. Is there any you can share?
Yeah. Well, we so Sean is a really really cool person, and we have last year compared to, like, so I came into casting at an interesting time, and I'm gonna kind of go back. I'm gonna answer your question, but I'm gonna go back a little bit on this. um just because of the fact that last year it was like I was with a trio, and that was my first year casting, and then now this year I'm with a duo where I'm this is the first year working with a duo. Sean has been everything but bit like of amazing. We really just he's very helpful. As far as stories go, I don't think we have anything just yet because we are in the early stages of like developing a relationship and like building that bond, building the way that we want to like cast, and like we've been working on that craft on the side. Recently he's been going through some personal stuff, so Sean, I love you if you see this. We've kind of been taking a break from that. We're like, we had the mid-season break, we just had the recent rebirth tournament. So yeah, he's an overall, he's an amazing person. And story wise, that not necessarily yet. I think he's been doing some extra Rocket League stuff too, and I know he had a couple of funny stories on broadcast with him being extremely short. But that's kind of what I'm curious about. I can't wait to work with him in person and kind of develop that. I haven't really developed that with anybody yet to where I got to work within a casting setting at a LAN yet. So I can't wait to do that. But we did the Minnesota one this past weekend, and that was really fun just to get the marathon going. But yeah, hopefully in the future we'll get that setting and environment, and something crazy will happen. There is my dog. If you can hear him, I'm sorry. I have a big German Shepherd.
Oh, bless. I want to know. Miles and Chance apparently have a pre show ritual where they sing to each other. Do you do anything to warm up for shows? Because obviously you play guitar, you do loads of different instruments. Do you like to jam out, say, with hardcore metal playing really loud in the headphones? Or is it because it's quite stressful, you just take it chill, maybe sit with a coffee, or do you just let it be?
I think it just depends on my mood. I mean, I could be a swing of moods, okay, of emotions. But there's some mornings where, yeah, like I just want to chill out, maybe have a cup of tea, and just listen to some maybe positive affirmations. Uh, usually like the morning of or the day before, like Sean and I like we'll go over stuff. We'll hype each other up. Like I'm always saying some crazy stuff like we're gonna be in the CDL. Yeah, we're so hot. Like like we'll just say things, so like many positive things to hype each other up. Which is just a given. Like right before we're gone, okay, keep it concise, keep it this. We're doing this. Like we'll talk to each other about what we need to do. How So that's like kind of like a pre-ritual for us that we established, but for me personally, yeah, sometimes there's been mornings where I'm just like jamming out to just whatever I want to listen to. I think one morning I went on a run with my dog. This is this year. Keep in mind, because last year I was working at my other job. Okay. I was working at my other job and I was going straight into casting. We're not doing that this year. We're like, okay, focusing on that cast. This is what we got to do. So I have that extra time in the morning to do these pre-rituals so I can get and keep my head in the game, and not be so burger brained sometimes, because I do that. We all do. It's okay. But yeah, I sometimes I'll just go and walk my dog and just do whatever I feel like on that day. But I think that's like last year, I didn't really have the time to do those things because I did work another job, which I still do work now. The only difference is that I take off of my casting days. I'm not working like a crazy, crazy person in the morning and then going straight away into casting, and then working all night. So no more double shifts on the casting days, and we have time to do these pre-rituals. So depending on how I'm feeling, it could be running my dog, it could be listening to music, obviously doing some extra studying. I like to just keep kind of cranking because I overly study sometimes, and then it's a bad thing. But I've been taking the time to just kind of relax. Positive affirmations too, drinking some tea, and hyping Sean up, us hyping each other up, saying we're sexy, we're amazing, we got this, we know what we're doing, we know what we're going for, and just the positive vibes all around.
Definitely, it is positive vibes all around, and one day you'll end up in the CDL. But we spoke about this briefly before the podcast started. Your dream is to end up in the CDL as the first female commentator or caster. How is this going to happen for you, and how do you plan to make this happen?
Hard work, honestly. Just right now, I'm at a point where I had to figure out, because last year casting was like my first year doing it, right? And I had to figure out, like, while I was working a full-time job, trying to create content for Dreamcrazzy and grow my personal brand and figure out who I wanted Dreamcrazzy to be, and then getting into casting, it was very conflicting at first because it's like I was just kind of going through those imposter syndrome moments where it's like, am I going to be good enough for this? Like, can I do this? Just everything that came with it was a lot, just because there are a lot of eyes on you. I don't want to mess up. I want to be myself, but it was like learning the craft and like infusing all that together all at once. It was just, I was juggling a lot. Now that this year that we're at this point, it's like, okay, now I know what I want. I do want to cast. I really enjoyed doing it because I loved even just building the excitement, loved watching the games. My love personally for Call of Duty has just, it's a love-hate relationship, I think, for all of us, we could say, sometimes. But there was just a certain era where it's like, oh, Call of Duty, I'm playing it. But it's like with Vanguard and even with Warzone and with everything that they're doing with COD Mobile, there's just so much Call of Duty and just the hype, even with Treyarch and Microsoft. It's just the game itself with Vanguard. It just something about this game and everything that is coming around it. It built up so much love. Like back, I don't know, maybe it's like being back in 4v4 setting, because a 5v5 was like a disaster. But there's just something that is just feels so magical about Call of Duty this year for me personally, that I'm like, casting, like, I know this is what I want to do. And then when I got paired up with Spaceman, I'm like, yeah, I want to do this now. Like I couldn't let go. Dreamcrazy couldn't let go of the competitive mindset. Like, and I think a lot of pro players can say this as well. We didn't retire in a way that where we wanted to. It's kind of like, not a lot of these pro players didn't necessarily go out the way that they wanted to go out. It was kind of like they faded away, forced out of a position, and Dreamcrazy didn't go out the way she wanted to go out. And I think last year, it's like on top of everything that I was doing, Dreamcrazy was like, okay, damn, I want to be playing. Like, I'm casting and this is cool, but I thought there's a huge part of me that still wanted to be up there competing because I didn't go out the way that I wanted to go out. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, now I'm thinking about it. Okay, I know I'm older now. My birthday's this weekend. Okay. At one point, I think some trolls in the community that didn't like me, it trended my birthday in their freaking clan tag. Okay. My actual birth date Tell you, gamers. You win a couple tournaments and you get smack talk. But anyways, I just that's a troll joke there. It did kind of annoy me. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, obviously I'm bringing it up. Okay, bothered me a little bit, but I still got it. That's the thing. I know I still have it. And I just thought, why can't I just be the first female caster? Why can't I just do this and maybe quit one job and go back to playing? Like Courage did it. I looked at Courage. That is the perfect example. He was somebody who obviously got into casting. He was amazing at it. Somebody who even I'm going back and watching some of his content and the things that I missed. He went in and did all this, was amazing at it. And then he went off into a world of playing Fortnite and playing games, being a content creator and doing everything that he wants every single day. I looked at that and it's like, why can't I do that? Why can't I do these things? It's like I hold myself back sometimes, like thinking like I can't do it. And it's like, stop measuring your successes, Ellen. Stop comparing. Stop. Just get out of that imposter syndrome, because we all have it. We all have there's always two sides sometimes that we fight with. And yeah, here we are. This is the goal. We're going to do it. We're going to infuse it. We're going to be the first female CDL commentator eventually, hopefully in the league, hopefully with Spaceman, because he's an amazing duo. I love working with him. I love his energy. He's sarcastic too, which is great. Okay. Because I could be very sarcastic sometimes. And like, I need that. I need to laugh. I need that sense of humor. Sometimes it's sarcastic, but funny, but fun, but positive, yeah, that's just the goal. I'm just going to keep working as hard as I can and doing as much as I can, learning everything ins and outs, even production stuff, behind the scenes stuff. I want to learn everything. And that's the type of person I've always been. Just want to learn it all. I just suppressed that energy for a really long time, because of how I left even, which is kind of another story. I don't know if we want to go into that yet.
How did you even come up with the name Dreamcrazy? Is it as simple as splitting the two words and you dream crazy, or does it have another meaning personally to you?
Oh no, there's a deeper meaning behind Dreamcrazy. I already rambled this much, but Dreamcrazy. So Dreamcrazy, there's a story, and this is kind of what we were talking about earlier before the cast, before we started this. Dreamcrazy is a little bit complicated, but somebody who I needed to figure out, because Dreamcrazy was a girl who was born essentially from fan fiction. Okay. Just a girl who had to go retreat into a world where she had to think about all of her goals and dreams of things that she wanted to do. And that's kind of how I grew up, is in a fantasy world where I had to block out my reality because there was so much bad happening around me that I just had to focus on the things that I wanted to do and the people that I wanted to help in the future, to prevent just to promote more happiness and maybe prevent less negativity, let's say, if that makes sense. So I started reading a lot when I was like, I always loved to read. But when I was I think I watched a lot of anime, and watching anime like Dragon Ball Z, Ranma One Half was a big one, but I wanted to get into writing. So I don't know. Did you want me to explain this whole entire story, by the way, on this podcast?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say,
I'm intrigued.
Want the short and sweet? Do you want the long version, the short version? I don't know. Like, how deep do you want me to go? Because I can go pretty deep. Okay. But no pun intended in there. But anyway. Anyways, yeah, I wanted to learn how to, like, I just thought Dreamcrazy, this girl who was in a world where there was, I call it a child of light born into darkness. And one being, I lost, my father passed away before I was born, like 6 months before I was born. And that kind of put a lot on my mom. So she was a hardworking woman. And it was just a girl who was just a child of light born into darkness. And Dreamcrazy is just about pushing for those dreams and aspirations. And I didn't want to be crazy dreamer because it just sounded so like, man, crazy dreamer you see everywhere. So I was like, let me just flip the two. And I tried to get into writing fan fiction, and that was terrible. I was just like, hold on, I could probably write, but I couldn't focus on it. OCD. I have OCD, by the way. So it's like, oh my God. So yeah, I got Call of Duty 4. And this could be maybe tied into another question. Maybe I just answered another question that you had in your mind, but maybe we're just going to answer it right here and there. Do you want to ask how I got into gaming? But that's kind of what kind of came into it. Is I made this Dreamcrazzy name when I tried to write fan fiction when I was 13 because of that girl who I was then. And then years later, when I got into a car accident and was like, here you go, play this damn Call of Duty 4 game, because I hated Call of Duty, by the way. And I didn't play it. Had to think of a gamer tag and Dreamcrazzy. That's just the first thing that came to mind. So I started to give you the long version, short version, and then I was just like, hold on, I'm trailing off here. I could keep going deeper about this, but let me stop because this is a whole nother story. But yeah, a lot. There's a lot of meaning behind Dreamcrazzy. There's and a lot of complex persona that I still am figuring out who that is. But I think we figured her out, and Dreamcrazzy is she's a jack of all trades, man. She's full of it all. She's full of it all.
Not gonna lie, I expected it just to be a simple answer, but fair play. It's clearly took some thinking out. But COD 4 was a game that you were given, and obviously you weren't the biggest fan of Call of Duty, but was that the first game you ever played, or can you remember playing a game beforehand?
Oh gosh, are we talking like system wise, like any system, any game, or are we talking like
any game?
Any game. Okay. First system, first game on a controller was definitely NES, Nintendo.
Wow.
And I think it was either like Duck Hunt, Contra. Like I'm fucking old. I feel old as shit. Yeah, it was something around there, but I was 3. I was 2 or 3 when I touched my first controller. And there's baby pictures of me just playing. I played Super, and then after that, like when I really became of age, it was Super Nintendo, Final Fantasy games. I loved all types of games, racing games, everything. Call of Duty, I wouldn't say I hated, let's say, but like the single player, I just didn't really care for it. It was really online Call of Duty that really sucked me in. And then like I started to really grow attached to like the single player, the story. Like, but even now, I still, if I bought a new Call of Duty, I would instantly turn on multiplayer. So,
well, with that said, how do you feel that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is the next announced Call of Duty? Are you excited, or do you feel like it's going to be quite a bit of a nostalgia?
Okay, so I'm actually super excited. I know that they plan to do like new engine, new everything. That's even with Warzone 2. And Modern Warfare 2 was a special Call of Duty for me because like if we're thinking the name Modern Warfare 2, that represented a lot for me personally because that was the first Call of Duty that I got recognized years ago in 2009. And I could ping you those videos too if you want to check them out. But that's when Fwiz and Hastro casted over me, and just amazing to even say that those two amazing individuals just casted over at least one game. Amazing. I was playing against AOX, Art of Execution, which was Clayster, Croster, his old squad. But anyways, nostalgia. But just with having that background and with the new Modern Warfare 2 coming out, I'm like, oh my God, I'm excited for it. I don't want to get too excited for it because sometimes we get overly hyped about COD and it doesn't come out as expected out the box. Vanguard wasn't so pretty with that. I waited quite a few months to play Vanguard, and that's surprising for me. But I do love the game. I love World War II games. But anyways, but yeah, I'm excited for it. I feel like I hope it's going to be something that's a little bit more fresh and new. But at the same time, I'm more excited for this game because I feel like I don't know. I'm more excited for what's next too. I'm really excited for Warzone 2, but I just I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be a new it's going to be a new feel. I hope it's a new feel, but just catering to the name around it and what I did in the past, that means a lot to me. And I'm just like, I'm hoping I'm in a position where we could just go straight into it and game hard. Don't worry about any other jobs and get that content out there. Start slaying kids again.
With that said, you are kind of a trendsetter because it's a male dominated sport, whether it be on the casting team or whether it be as a professional player yourself. I think it'd be nice to see more of an equal balance. How does that feel? Because you have, like you said, former professional player turned caster or commentator, with Ali being an analyst. We're seeing the introduction of women, but how does it feel to be at the forefront of it, of a change essentially?
It feels very like I'm really like honored. Um just because, well, for one, I can say that from the amount of females from when I was around 10, 11, 12 years ago, um there really wasn't, like, I would freak out if I heard a girl in the lobby like just playing pubs. They were few and far between. Like, you didn't really see so many, but now there's so many females competing across the board, and you see even casters, analysts, commentators for all different types of games now. It's just it's awesome. And being in this position, I'm so honored. And honestly, I want to be right. Like, I want to do more. Like, I always feel like I could do more, and I want to just keep doing more. I take my job very seriously. And I want to, I know that there's a term that always goes around, like the e-girl term. Um, and I know there's some females that are quote unquote don't care as much, and just kind of care about like the fame or like money. I'm not that type of person. I just want more representation. I want more women to take it seriously, in which they are. There's a lot more these days that are, compared to, like I said, 10 years ago. And just for that to just keep thriving, I think we're headed in that direction. And I see every day just women out there killing it, and kind of changing that persona around of just being a typical, girl gamer, female gamer, but we still hear it every single day regardless.
I cannot wait for the day that say we get the first female in a professional team. Like, we know Midnight is absolutely bossing it, but when we see that first female actually starting player on a Call of Duty team in the league, that's going to be insane. It'll happen one day, but when? And like I say, breaking down barriers. If you look back at Call of Duty top 10 moments, it's all male dominated. Why? There is females playing it, like you say, but it's it's time for change.
Yeah.
And through that, you have had lots of different experiences. What is your most notable experience, whether it be as a player, as a professional caster, or just streamer?
Um, I have quite a few I feel like little moments. Obviously just in the past, experiences wise, there was a couple of lands that I did win. One being eBash, which was like a local Gamers for Giving land, if you've heard of Gamers for Giving, and just experiencing that moment. Like, I think in that point of time, and this was in 2013, I think it was. I just wanted to win something because at that point I'd been playing for a couple years. I maybe done some online stuff, beat a couple of like reputable players online. Um, and I just wanted to do that in a LAN setting. Black Ops 2 was the first year that I gained that reputation. And it was amazing. Just that whole entire year, I would say like the first half of it, actually, not the last half of it was kind of interesting, but um, it was just, I had won, I think we won three locals um, and events, and then we got seventh at a LAN event, which was a UMG St. Louis, which but there were some good teams there, but it wasn't an MLG one. MLG one, I think we were one round away from winning a champion, making it to championship bracket, which was pool play. Things were a little bit different then. So I had moments where I was like really, really close. But I think the best moment was probably for sure just holding up a check for the first time ever in that setting, and just that year, just from all the pro players too, like it's so cool to just open up and turn on the console and like, it's not every day you're getting an invite, or playing in a scrim, like a pickup eights lobby with like Crim Six or hearing like Karma praise you. We beat Optic that year too. This was the second one. This is probably definitely top three. Optic was 53-0 in league play. Black Ops 2. For champs that year, we had to grind a ladder. Okay. Optic, they were 53-0. And I think at the time it was Merc, Big T, Nadeshot, and Scump. We played them on Plaza, I think Hardpoint, completely destroyed, dropped almost 50, got like 500 followers. Nadeshot followed. Like UMG sent me a controller. All these reputable companies just praising. I was like, what the heck? But yeah, we beat them. I was like, holy crap. Like, I remember Aches messaged me. He was like, that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Cause he's always kind of like helping me, motivate me to just get the hell out of my head and just do it. But yeah, that was that was my year of glory for sure.
What do you think is most undervalued in life or potentially Call of Duty esports? Like, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people don't recognize, and I want to know, what do you personally think that is most undervalued?
People don't understand the pressure that comes with it. Some people think that it's like it's just easy. They can just jump on and just be like, okay, here you go. But there's a lot of energy that goes into it, a lot of mental strength. I feel like even more so than even competing as a player, to be honest. And it's a lot because there's a lot of things that you have to know and you have to be aware of, and it teaches you something. And I feel like a lot of people don't really understand that you need to have certain skill set to be able to do this job. And it's if you don't, even if you don't know it and you want to learn, again, it's not easy. It's not easy. People think it's just something you could just jump right into. There are some people that might naturally have it and could do that maybe, but I still think that there's still a certain technique and rhythm and practice and flow that you have to practice almost every single day. And it can be hard to keep that consistent, especially like with some of these casters that have back to back to back to back shows and jobs. It's a lot. It is a lot. And they say like even taking breaks, mental health, it's so key and important because of everything that can come with it.
How do you feel about people that are kind of being hateful online? Like you say, your birthday was kind of put into people's clan tags just to kind of mess with your head, and it got to you. How do you deal with that?
Well, as a competitive player, like those things over time, they would get to me, but then it's like at the same time it would fuel me. And that kind of stems with a lot of, let's just say, family history. Just to keep that concise, it's just like it turns into kind of like, this is okay, there's difference. Competitor, because I still consider myself a competitor. I do want to come back and compete. And you never know, I could be the first female motherfucker. Just kidding. Just kidding. But competitor wise, it fueled me and it kept me keeping my head in the game. Caster wise, it doesn't exist because competitive banter, sometimes you play on like a main stage, or like, because essentially I did play on a main stage before. I have at an event. I think it was MLG Atlanta Complexity.
Mm-hmm.
Being in a main stage setting, you want to talk smack, or like kind of, Call of Duty was based on that. You know what I mean? Just the smack talking, getting in their head. I myself, I used to do that to a point to where sometimes it could have been hurtful. Like, we all make our mistakes. Like, we all have had our issues with maybe certain people, individuals, whatever. But nowadays it's like, I just, as a caster now and an analyst, or just being in that setting, I don't really see it. It just doesn't exist because when you, like I said, like having that energy and you need to save your energy as a caster, like you got, like I said, you got to be aware, and just do your thing. You can't really let the, like, you don't see it. You can't really let this, like, I think Hex, I even saw a tweet that one time somebody said, yo, you're going to let him say something about whatever, whatever. And he goes, what haters? Who? So I read that and it's like, it just stuck. Who? Huh? So ever since I saw Hex tweet that, it's just like, especially being in this position, it doesn't exist. But if I'm competing, oh yeah. If I just turned on, yeah, we're saying something. 3Ps, what are you doing? Like I have to get my, like, you know, I have to get that aggressive competitive energy out there. But caster, it doesn't exist. We're in our world. We're focused on the games. We're focused on the information about these players, and we're focused on the job.
You've had a lot of different opportunities throughout your life. How did you actually get into casting?
Well, this is a little bit of an interesting one. I actually got approached. It was by Jack Felling, actually, who they were just, she approached me and asked me 2020, I think it was Modern Warfare. Didn't want to do it. I didn't really care for the game and my passion wasn't there. And on top of that, like mentally, I was still getting over some stuff. And I just wasn't ready. And I politely declined. I just said, you know, I think you should give this opportunity to somebody who really wants to be here, wants to enjoy the game. I wasn't feeling it. That was it. I thought, well, I never really thought about that opportunity again. And I was just doing whatever, I think, and just kind of just streaming every day, playing whatever game. I really wasn't around in the COD scene because I didn't care for the game. Then Cold War came out, loved Cold War, grinded like crazy. And then I played, obviously we went to made the switch to PC. And this was like my first like year kind of like maybe competing on it, thinking I was going to compete on it. Then I played into 2K and then, well, I'm not going to say what happened. Maybe, you know, kind of got hacked on, maybe not, maybe, you know, it was just some weird things just happened. And I'm like, what am I playing? But I love the game. Then I got approached again. Hey, you want to cast? After that experience, sure. You know what? I love this game. I was really passionate about Cold War. And, you know, obviously it was like, it felt like Black Ops 2. It was like a Black Ops 2 remake, so to speak, with a couple extra maps. But it was fun. I was ready. I was at a point in my life where I was like, you know what? I'm here. I'm ready. Let's do this. And I was ready to take on the challenge. Modern Warfare, I didn't really have that passion for the game. So it's like I wasn't fully ready then as well too. But have the passion back. And yeah, we just decided to do it and take that leap of faith.
You mentioned Aches. Is there anybody else that you look up to? Because you've also mentioned coverage throughout the podcast. You've teamed up with Fox, Spaceman, Bryce, Tun, lots of different reputable people. But yeah. Is there anybody that you take as like an influence or a mentor or anybody that you guide your career by?
Honestly, a little bit of everybody. Mentoring was a little bit strange. Like I guess I wish there's certain things I took it more seriously. But I would say, yeah, Aches has been one for over the years. As players, formal, definitely formal, man. Karma and in terms of casting wise, it's just a lot of these casters like bust. I learned from everybody. Spaceman, like you mentioned him, Bryce, Tun. I've learned something from everybody, and the type of person that I am, I can literally have a conversation with anybody. It doesn't matter who you are, even if that person doesn't like me, I can still drop how I feel and still talk to them and just figure out why. So like I'm just that type of person. Like I can talk and learn from anybody. And this community, especially with these leaders, Hex is another one. He's probably my biggest. Like that's like my content, like anytime I watch his Hex Quarters podcast or anything, the Eavesdrop, because I've been catching up on those things that I've missed, I learned something. So it's got to be from the people that I can learn something from. And it's a little bit of everybody, honestly.
Yeah, I'm really not surprised with the Hex one because obviously he's been on the podcast. Somehow mentioned me in his vlog. Like, I got a Twitter DM from a up and coming caster Jacko who basically went, Hex has just shouted you out in his vlog, and I'm like, I'm sat there, and he's gone. He's one to watch because he's put his mind to something and he's actually done it, and I'm like, excuse me, but yeah.
But it was a good. It was like like, oh my god, like what? Like, yeah, I totally get it. I would be like freaking out, like breathe, Helen, breathe. Yeah. That's amazing.
Is there any other games you'd like to cast?
Honestly, yes. I had potential last year to cast some Apex. I do like Apex. I wouldn't mind dabbling with Fortnite. Um, Obviously, with me being such a new caster, analyst, host, even learning the host role, I want to learn. And I've been practicing that low key on the side, like in my car. And Bryce even told me, he's like, "Hey, this might sound weird, but doing things in your car, talking to yourself, like it does help." And he's right. So thank you, Bryce. I do that. I do that. But I was featured on a top 5 thing on Twitch, top plays on Valorant. So that happened when it first came out, and we haven't touched it then. But Valorant's lit. But yeah, I would love to dabble. It's just time for me right now. And of course, with just being a new caster, I just wanted the experience and focus on just COD, mainly in Warzone, just to get my feet wet and get acclimated more. And then once we start to move those factors, then yeah, we're gonna be going in any other games for sure. Oh, and I did do golf with friends. Actually, did do a Twitch Rivals Doritos Disruptor series that had golf with friends, which is really weird. But I had the experience of being in a moment where I casted something else. I forgot to say that, but yeah, it's just Call of Duty for me for right now.
I can't imagine what it'd be like to cast golf with friends because that's a whole different ball game. But fair play for you to doing it.
Really weird. We rolled with it though.
Yeah, I guess with a lot of different life experiences as well, you have had lots of different things happen. Like you've been a professional Call of Duty player, you've casted golf with friends, you've been involved in Twitch top 5s, and also you're now developing your career to what it is today, as well as being Ellen and Dreamcrazzy. Like you said to me, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that maybe people don't know about. But with that in mind, what would you name your autobiography if you were to publish one?
Probably Finding Family, the story of Ellen Elizabeth Jean.
Wow.
I already kind of thought about that, huh?
It's definitely one which I think people should read because, like you say, your career is realistically being launched into the atmosphere, like you say, however long it's been since lockdown, and you've been the forefront of challenges with Sean. Like you say, Sean's an outstanding human being, so is yourself, and we're seeing lots of different things happen, and with the addition of Bryson Turner, it'd be nice to see you in the Call of Duty League sometime. But if we were to sum the podcast up, because we've been going for a while, and we've had a lot of fun talking, with Zoom crashing, and microphones and cameras not working, but if you had to give one bit of advice that may be something that you've received in your life that you want to pass on to others, what would it be?
Just believe that you can achieve. Push yourself to your limits. Just do, because there's a lot of people that I know that just have that tendency to, especially nowadays, social media can get a hold of us, but just be everything that you want to be. Follow your dreams and listen to your heart. There's like, I told you ask me these questions sometimes, and so too many things just come in. It's like I want to say so much.
Say whatever you wish.
I just know that, yeah. Here we go. We can read this fortune. You will never regret the present. You live life to its fullest.